about. Okay, so let me start the class today, which is called multi-dimensional array, in which a 2D array also we are trying to discuss. So first, let us take a look at declaration part. I think array so far whatever I've discussed, I just mentioned that data type followed by name of the array, and within the square brackets, if you types a number, it will tell that it is the size of the array. So can anybody tell double a of 100 total how much memory is allocated for the first statement? What is the size of the double? What is the size of the double? How many bytes double is going to take? Anybody from the class? Respond fast.
Yeah, 8 bytes.
8 bytes, right? So if I'm taking a of 100, can you tell me total memory is how much is allocated for a double a of 100? How many bytes? Respond.
800, sir.
Very good. So each location belongs to a double. So each location is going to have an 8 bytes. So like that, I have 100 locations. So 100 into 800 bytes is going to be allocated. Now the slightly variation of the array, which is called two-dimensional array. Just a minute. Somebody is waiting. Fine. So the slightly difference in terms of the declaration is called int b of 4 and 6, right? So if I'm using only one square bracket, indicates it is a single dimensional array. If I'm going to use two square brackets followed by the name of the array, we call it as a two-dimensional array. If I'm using three square brackets after the name of the array, we call it three-dimensional array. Like that, multi-dimensional array we can declare, but the imagination, no, our imagination is possible up to three-dimensional. So that is the reason only three different cases are given here. So first statement will be a one-dimensional, where you can see that an element in an array point of view. But coming to the int b of 4 comma 6, you always think that your elements are going to be arranged like a matrix format, where it will have some rows and columns. So first square brackets indicates the number of rows, and the second square bracket indicates number of columns. So whenever you are trying to represent the data in the form of a table, always we prefer to use a two-dimensional array where two square brackets are indicated. So first square bracket value or a size indicates the number of rows, and in each row how many values you wanted to store is called 6. So that is called number of columns. Coming to the character C of 5, 4, and 9, can anybody tell how do you think that 5, 4, 9 indicated? Anybody? How do you interpret 5, 4, 9? Anybody from the class? Can you interpret what is 5, 4, 9? Just now I mentioned 4, 6 is nothing but it is a table format where number of rows and columns. You can assume it is like a plane of rectangle plane where you have certain number of rows and number of columns. If you have a 5, 4, 9, what does it mean? Anybody? Have you seen that cube? That colors matching cube will be there. No, I don't know what exactly it is called. Anybody remembered? You have a cube now, which where the colors can be matched of each side. Remembered or not?
Rubik's Cube, sir.
Yeah, Rubik's cube, right? So Rubik's cube, right? You can interpret that way, where if you look at one side, it will have a 5 rows and 4 columns, and such kind of planes will be put backside of each 5 by 4. So how many things are there like that? 9 planes are available, isn't it? So first two numbers indicates it is plane. The third number indicate it is a stack of planes. Stack of plane means one is keeping over the other one. That is the meaning of it. Is that clear? The imagination point of view, how do you interpret the data? It is like a three-dimensional cube representation. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so generally in Rubik's cube, can anybody tell what is the size you find? Do you know what is the size of the Rubik's cube? Tell me. How many rows and columns will be there in that Rubik's cube? Respond. At least you can say it is a square or not. I'm asking you only. Can you assume it is a square kind of cube
Yes, sir.
where each side will be of same rows and same columns? Yes or
Yes,
no?
sir.
Yeah. Then how many times it will be again continuing that same kind of plane? 5 times again, isn't it? So how do you declare if at all I want that kind of arrangement? Rubik's cube, char C of, it could be char, float or int, doesn't matter. Data type can be anything. What is the size? How do you write the size now? To
3,
represent.
3.
Yeah, if it is only three color, not three colors actually. It is like 5 different columns, 5 different rows means 5, 5, 5, isn't it? It all depends on the size of the Rubik's cube. Generally, three I don't see, but minimum four, I guess, 4 or 5, more than four. Okay, is that clear? See, if you respond, I can go faster, right? If you keep quiet, it is very tough for me. At least say yes or no. Is that clear to all of you? 5, 5, 5. Can I write to represent a Rubik's cube of size 5?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, one more thing before I read the statement, I just wanted you to tell how many bytes for the first one. You said that it will be 100 into 8 bytes, total 800 bytes. Can you tell what is 4, 6 in integer? How many bytes are going to be allocated for the second declaration? We are going to represent the data in the table format where 4 rows and 6 columns. So, how many elements are going to be accommodated? If you
24.
understand this, then I need 24,
24.
right? So 24 elements. Each element, how much memory?
4 bytes.
4 bytes.
Total, how many bytes?
96.
96, isn't it? So simply what your job is, the generally every square brackets number indicates the size actually, okay? Size 1, size 2, where 4 and 6. Then the size of the element, basically it is an integer. So can I say 4 into 6 into 4? Can I say that way or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Similarly, can you tell me what will be the size allocated for the third statement or for third declaration? How many bytes?
180.
180, because each character is having only 1 byte. So simply your job is 5 into 4 into 9, isn't it? 5 4s are 20, 20 into 9, 180. Correct or not? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
Now you can read the particular statement, you will understand. A k-dimensional array, k-dimensional is 3-dimensional, has a size for each dimension. So we have 3 sizes. One dimension is 5, the second dimension is 4, third dimension is 9. And let the Si, means it could be 5 or it could be 4 or it could be 9, be the size of the ith dimension. So if array elements are of type capital T, in our case it is 1 byte, which is a character, type is character, and size of the character is V, which is 1 byte. The array declaration will allocate a space for S1 into S2 into Sk, like that if it's a k-dimensional array. So total size will be decided by S1 into S2 into up to Sk into the size of the type of the data, isn't it? I hope this particular statement is now easy to understand. 5 into 4 into 9 into 1, where V is equal to 1, S1, S2, S3 are given. S1 equal to 5, S2 is equal to 4, S3 is equal to 9. So 5 into 4 into 9 into, then size of the data type is 1, which is character. So I can assume it is 5 into 4 into 9 into 1. So that it will be total 180 bytes. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, to pictorial representation, that it is convenient to think a 2D array as a rectangular collection of the elements. So one of the example is int of a of 3 comma 5. Even though I read as a 3 comma 5, but in the C programming, always you understand it will be in a square brackets, right? Index m and index n. M indicates number of rows and n indicates number of columns. So a of m comma n. So here I can see that the first one is telling actually the picture is wrong. If a of 3 comma 5, only 3 rows 5 columns must be there, but whatever is given in the bottom figure, it is nowhere related with what is declared. No, int a of 3 comma 5, it must be int of 4 comma how much. For the picture what is represented, what must be the declaration statement? Can anybody tell?
4 comma 5.
4 comma
Int of
4
4
only, no?
comma 5.
1 2 3 4 5, correct. 4 comma 5, correct. So it
Yes.
must be 4 there, even though it is written 3, but it is 4 actually, because there are 4 rows are available and 5 this one. So what is the maximum index we can use in the programming for the first one? If I'm going to use a of 4 comma 5, what is the maximum index I can use for the first dimension? You can see, vertically 0 1 2 and 3. So it means if it's a 4, I can use maximum of size 3 in the usage point of view. Similarly, if there are 5 different columns, what is the maximum index I can use?
4.
4. So you must be very careful while using in the programming part. So even in the one dimensional array, if I'm using a of 10, the indexes are 0 to 9. So a of 10 is invalid while using the program. Only declaration it is acceptable, but by accessing the element a0 to an is correct, if at all, if I'm going to declare a of 10. So I hope everybody has understood that point. It is most important point. Okay, shall I
Yes,
proceed?
sir.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
So next comes, we are trying to have a relation between the pointers and multi-dimensional arrays. Already I have given the relation between the single dimensional array and the pointer, but here I'm trying to give the same representation for the multi-dimensional array. So there are two numerous ways to access the elements of a 2D array. So generally a of I comma j is equivalent to star of a of I plus j, or you can write second format where parenthesis is used, star of a plus I then j, or else you can use third format, or else you can use fourth format. It is only a practice you are supposed to consider, because I don't have a graphics tablet to exactly explain each and every type. But you try to remember, if at all you wanted to access the element of a 2D array, out of these 4, any 5 in fact, a of I comma j is also valid. So total 5 ways. If at all using pointers you want to access, the last 4 methods are available. So is that clear? Accessing an element of an array. After discussing this PPT, if time permits, I just wanted to execute some programs of 2D array. We use each and every possibility. Is that okay? Accessing
Yes,
an array by using that method. Okay, either using star of a of I plus j, or else star within the bracket a plus I then square brackets j, or else star of a plus I plus j, or else star of ampersand of a of 0 0 plus 5 into I plus j. Very complicated. So very simplest one is the first one, a of I comma j. So remaining all are complex things, generally we don't use, but first one is very simple to use. But you should know that what are the alternative ways of accessing the 2D arrays, the other 4 techniques in the form of a pointers. Shall I proceed? Okay, fine. Now here we can think that a of I as the ith row of a table. Similarly, we can think of a of ij as the element in the ith row and jth column. So the array name is a, and ampersand of a of 0 is a pointer to an array of 5 integers, and base address of the array is ampersand of a of 0 of 0. I think both are same actually. Here we will check it out in the programming part. So starting element we wanted to get it. So ampersand of a of 0 is a pointer to an array of 5 integers, and the base address of the array is represented by ampersand of a of 0 of 0. The notations are very, multiple notations are available when it comes to the 2D arrays, so you must be very careful. So here we are trying to give 3 different names here. The name of the array is a, and ampersand of a of 0 is a pointer to an array of 5 integers. So what it means is, you can think that every row 0 is a one particular array, row 1 is also a particular array, row 2 also a particular array, row 3, there are 4 different arrays are put one below the other. So you can assume that I just wanted to access the first row, just I wanted to save the starting address of first row. Can anybody tell what is the starting address of the first row? From this table, what is the starting address of the first row? Can I say ampersand of a of 0 of 0?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
What is the starting address of the row 1? Ampersand of a of 1 comma a of 1 and 0.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, for the address of third array, it will be ampersand of a of 2 and 0, or else ampersand of the fourth row. The starting address will be ampersand of a of 3 and 0. So to represent that ampersand of a of 0 0, ampersand of a 1 0, ampersand of a 2 0, ampersand of 3, it is called individual arrays actually. So here I'm trying to mention that the array name is a, ampersand of a of 0 is a pointer to an array of 5 integers. It is equivalent to the first one. Similarly, ampersand of a of 1, ampersand of a of 2, ampersand of a of 3. So like that you can access individual rows if at all you want. And overall base address can be taken as ampersand of a of 0 of 0. So there are 3 things you must be able to understand. What is an array name, what is the base address of the each row, and what is the overall base address of the table. So overall base address of the table is represented by ampersand of a of 0 and 0. So finally it is nothing but a starting address, and computer allocates total depends on the size. No, here it is given 15 integers, but I think I have not given 3 into 5 based on the previous declaration, this one, whereas table was given differently. But you assume that if it is the 3 size and 5 size, total 15 integers are going to be allocated. So the mapping between the pointer values and array indexes. So you can see here the storage mapping function is very simple. A of I and j is equivalent to, I think, fourth method we have seen. There are 4 possibilities. So last possibility is written here. So it is a repetitive. I can just skip this particular point. Now coming to the passing the two-dimensional array to a function. So here called formal parameter declaration. Like in the lab, I think yesterday or today, some student was using that maximum and minimum numbers of a given array by using max and minimum function. So they are struggling with how to pass array from main to a maximum function or a minimum function. So they had a problem. Then I just mentioned that it should be int a of square and square brackets. If at all it is two-dimensional array, how we are going to pass it? So here you can see when a multi-dimensional array is a formal parameter in a function definition, all the sizes except the first must be specified, so that the compiler can determine the correct storage mapping function. So it indicates that if at all you are trying to pass an array which is declared inside the main, and you have initialized every element of that particular array, you wanted to pass this particular table to some other function. So make sure that the function definition, the formal parameter declaration must be except the first one size, remaining all sizes must be written, because if it is not going to match with that, so you are going to get an error. So that is what the meaning here. So here you can see in the header of the function definition, the following 3 parameter declarations are equivalent. Either you can, for a of 3 5 example, it is given. Even though if you simply write a of without any number in the first bracket and second bracket is 5, by default it will consider it will be of total 5 elements with the 3 different rows. It is a meaning. Or else you can directly write a of 3 5, there's nothing wrong. Or else you can write int star a of 5. So all these 3 formats are acceptable. So this is one of the example where you can pass a two-dimensional array to some other function if at all you are working with 2D arrays. Now coming to the three-dimensional arrays, as I mentioned, as the size or a dimension of the array is increases, our imagination also should increase, right? How the data is going to be represented, how we are going to perform the operation. So these are little time taking, but you should understand. The compiler will allocate x into y into z into number of integers. So it is now something like x into y into and size of the integer. So just now we have seen that particular in the calculation part. Now coming to the base address of the three-dimensional array is similar to the two-dimensional array. Instead of 0 and 0, you should take 0 0 0. It's a three different dimensions. See, again, storage mapping function. For two-dimensional case itself, I said it was a little complex to remember. For three-dimensional, it's much more complex. So just try to see the what is the similarity between mapping of the base address for both 2D array and 3D array. That I just leave it to you. So in the header of the function definition, the following three parameters declarations are equivalent. Similar to the two-dimensional array, we have three possibilities to mention the formal parameter declaration. For the three-dimensional also, we have three possibilities. Either you don't mention only the first one, but remaining two must be mentioned, or else you mention all the three sizes, or else the first one will be the pointer, other two must be sizes you should mention. So this is formal parameter declaration. Now coming to the initialization. So in most of in the initial part of our variable declaration and definition, some programs, I think even in the lab, I have seen some of the students, they're taking input directly in the program itself. They don't want to take from the keyboard. So they are declaring some variable and they're assigning some value, or else they're simply using a scanf function to read the value into the variable. There are two possibilities. So in the two-dimensional array also, either you can read by using keyboard or you can directly assign in the program itself. If at all you wanted to assign in the program, so this is how we can do it, either of these three cases. The first case, int a of 2 comma 3, by which you can say that 2 into 3, total 6 elements are needed. So you can simply write in the declaration statement int a of 2 comma 3 is equal to, within the curly brackets, simply just mention 1 2 3 4 5 6 separated by the comma. Now the question is, can anybody tell a of 2 comma 3 means how many rows and columns?
2 rows, 3 columns.
Yeah, always when you mention the number in sequence, it will take first number of elements in the row. So how many elements you will have in the row? In each row, how many elements are there?
3.
Three. So can you reformat? How does 1 2 3 4 5 6 will be stored in the memory? 1 2 3 will be first row. 4 5 6 will be the next row. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Even
sir.
though you don't mention anything right hand side, based on the second one, okay, second number is 3, so those many number of values are grouped together. In a of 2 comma 3, second number is a reference to group. So out of the 6, first 3 will be grouped and they will be made as one function, one row. Suppose if I'm taking 1 2 3 4 comma 5, automatically 0 will be appended and it will be taken in the second row. Is that clear? 0 or
Yes,
garbage,
sir.
right? 0 or a garbage. If you don't mention exactly 6 elements, but grouping is based on the second number or number of columns. So number of columns will decide the grouping of the series of numbers, even though you mention in the right hand side. So 1 2 3 belongs to one group, 4 5 6 belongs to second group. Suppose I give 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Can you tell me what is the third row now? Actually, it should be, yeah, it should be a of 3 comma 3 in that case, because there should be more number of rows and columns. So you can say a of 3 comma 3 is equal to 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 separated by comma. How do you interpret this particular definition? Respond. If at all the first statement is a of 3 comma 3 is equal to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6 comma 7. How do you interpret that statement? How do you do the grouping? Respond. You're not able to understand? Left hand side 3 comma 3. Total how many elements? 3 comma 3 indicates how many elements?
9.
9 elements. How many elements I'm trying to write there? 1 to 7. Total 7 elements. So then how the values are going to be stored in the memory?
Null character.
No, that is garbage. You assume that last two will be garbage. But how the grouping will be done? Which elements are grouped as one group? 1, 2,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
and 7 garbage and garbage, isn't it? Is
Yes,
that
sir.
clear? Okay, fine. So similarly, for the alternative way of if at all you have a doubt of representing that way, every row can be enclosed in a curly brackets again. So I think, but overall again, each row must be separated by a comma, and overall it has to be enclosed within one more curly brackets. You can see that the difference. The effect is same. You wanted to have a clarity. So the clarity can be made by making curly brackets as a group. There is no square brackets in the right hand side, only curly brackets. Try to remember. Even in the one dimensional array also I mentioned same thing. If it can be written int a of 6. If int a of 6, you can write right hand side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 within a curly brackets. If a of 2 comma 3 also, you can write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the first method, or else in the second method 1, 2, 3 will be put into one curly brackets, 4, 5, 6 into some other curly brackets. So they, both of them are going to represent a rows. Every row must be separated by a comma, and overall it has to be enclosed between the curly brackets. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, coming to the last one, when you try to mention the right hand side, the first number of rows will be optional, because the number of curly brackets or number of groups within the outer curly brackets will decide the size of the first dimension. So even though we don't mention the size of the first dimension, the compiler will look at the right hand side, how many curly brackets are there which are separated by a comma. So can you tell me how many are there in the right hand side? Two groups, isn't it? 1, 2, 3 is one group, and 4, 5, 6 second group. So default, the size of the first dimension is going to be decided by the compiler based on the right hand side what you allocate. Is that clear? I
Yes,
think
sir.
we have used in the string operation, same operation. In the strings we have used char a without any size you mention equal to within double quotes you write some string. So based on the number of letters in the string, automatically size is going to be allocated. So similar to that here also, same functionality is hold. Okay, shall I go next slide, or any doubts in this one? Shall I go to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now this is simple vector for addition. Actually we are trying to perform. Actually only thing is you don't have any data type called vector, but I can use a type def. Have you remembered we have used type defs in the very beginning classes? Remembered or not? Type defs. What for type def is used? Type definitions we are going to use for what purpose? Instead of, you don't want to use the already existing name like int, char and float, you wanted to use your own name. That time we use a type def. So it is something like giving an alternative name. It is like you have your original name on the roll list in the college, but whereas you have some nickname at home. Yes or no? So to assign some kind of the way nickname is assigned to everyone at home, similarly in the C programming, every data type can be renamed or can be used some other name by using a type def. So here vector is used, but not to have a confusion, I just want all of you to think the other way. You are trying to add two different matrices. So I should say that int a of 3 comma 3, int b of 3 comma 3, int c of int c of 3 comma 3, something like that. So whenever you are trying to perform matrix addition, What is the condition to perform two matrix addition? Addition of two matrices. What is the condition? Respond. What is the condition for performing addition of two matrices? Respond. It's a very simple question I'm asking. What is the question? What is the condition? Don't you think the dimensions of the matrices must match or not? Say yes or no.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so same thing here actually. For matrix addition and these are all I'll try to explain in the programming part, because if I explain just like this, you don't understand. So this is the logic for multiplication that again we'll see in programming part. So let me use a dev C++ to help you to understand better way. I don't know whether you're able to see the text or I wanted to increase the text. Where is the option to increase the font size? Anybody knows where is? Unable to see where to. You're able to see the text here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if it is fine, otherwise I need to increase the font size, but I'm unable to see where is the font size. If anybody knows, just let me know. If at all you have done. You.
Sir, tools.
Sorry?
Tools.
Tools. Okay, in the tools, edit options, no? I guess.
Yes, sir.
In this fonts. So let me use 20. It will take editor, huh? Yeah, editor. Yeah, I hope it is clear now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So just I'm trying to show the first program, which is for two-dimensional array. So hash include stdio.h int main, everybody knows, but only the declaration you can see it's a 2D array declaration. Int disp is a display kind of thing. Display 2 of 3. What is size of the array? What is size of the array? How do you say size of the array is 6, isn't it? Or 2 by 3? Is that clear? Respond. Display of 2 comma 3 indicates there will be total 6 elements. So I just wanted to read all the 6 elements from the keyboard. So for that, for whenever you are trying to process any two-dimensional array, two different indexes are important. One is I, the second one is j. I is going to be taking care of the number of rows and j is going to be taking care of number of columns. So always, like one-dimensional array must be processed by a for loop. Even two-dimensional array also needs a for loop. When there are two-dimensional array, two for loops are important. So first for loop is going to take care about the number of rows, and second for loop is going to take care about the number of columns. So whenever I'm trying to use for of I is equal to 0, then I have indexes will be 0 to 1, because only two rows are available. So I less than 2 is acceptable. Okay, 0 and 1 is possible. Similarly, for j is equal to 0 to 2 I want, so j less than 3 is also acceptable. So I'm just trying to print the enter the value for the matrix. Maybe first row and first column, which is I comma j. I will be 0, j will be 0. So simply you are using a scanf function ampersand of display of I comma j. So like that, how many times I need to type the elements here? Anybody tell? How many times I need to type the elements based on the for loop? Can anybody tell how many times this scanf is going to be executed?
6.
6 times. Okay, so I'm supposed to type 6 different elements separated by space or separated by enter. Anything is okay. So once you give the input, you wanted to verify is really what all I have typed. is stored in the memory or not. Again, I wanted to display them. So to display them, I'm just using the same of logic, displaying the array elements. While reading, scanf is a call by reference function, printf is a call by value function. The call by reference means the ampersand of display of I comma j is important. But coming to the display of a value in by using a printf, it is a call by value. So same thing for loop I is equal to 0 to 2, j is equal to 0 to 3, which is less than indicates 0 to 1 and 0 to 2 actually. So I'm trying to just display each element of the array. And to see in a matrix format, I'm just checking that once j is equal to 0, j is equal to 1, j is equal to 2 is over. So first row is completed. Once first row is completed, I'm just checking when j double is equal to 2, you simply use a new line character printf \n so that I can see that the output will be in the form of a matrix. If you don't use this \n, simply you can say 1 2 3 4 5 6 something like that, whatever. So let me compile this program and run. Just a minute, it is taking time. Yeah, fine. So you can see enter the value for 0 of 0. So first element I'm entering 1, then asking 0 by 1. It means 0 means first row second column, then first row third column, then second row first column, second row second column, second row third column. Yeah, you can see it's a two-dimensional array elements 1 2 3 4 5 6. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
If I don't use \n, what is going to happen?
In the same line, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, in the same line. If you want, you can verify. For the time being, I just make the compilation. No, I just wanted to comment that line. Let me run again. So I just use 1 2 3 4 5 6. You can see. So which one is preferable to see the output in the two-dimensional array? The previous one or this one?
Previous.
Previous one. So that is the reason the even the memory, however it is going to store in the memory, your job is to see the result in a right format. So you must be very careful while dealing with the 2D arrays. So that is the reason I always prefer to use the \n after end of the first row, which is represented by j, which is 0 to 1. So I'm the moment j equal to 2, so first row is over. So it is over means you can keep a \n. So I hope this is clear. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So let me use the second alternative, right? How to declare and all. You just now, just a minute, matrix underscore op, no? Matrix underscore op. Yeah, it is there. I've changed it actually. It may not work. I've changed this one. Let me close and reopen it. 2D display. Same one. Okay. How it is different from the previous one? How this program is different from the previous one? In the previous one, we are reading the input from the keyboard, isn't it? Now here, am I reading the inputs or definition of the array by using keyboard or directly defined in the program?
Defined.
Defined in the program, right? When I say array of 4 comma 2, how many rows and columns?
4 rows, 2
4 rows, 2
columns.
columns.
Yeah, 4 rows, 2 columns. So each row must be a grouping, isn't it? So simply I made a group. 1 comma 2 is one group, 3 comma 4 is one group, 5 comma 6 is one group, and 7 and 8 will be the one group. And every row must be separated by the comma, and everything must be enclosed in a curly brackets. Is that clear? So I think it's the second format which we are using for the definition of an array. Is it okay? Is that clear? Without no scanf function, we are trying to define directly in the program, and you wanted to see finally whether these things are stored in the array or not. So let me compile and run. So I hope this is clear. 4 rows and 2 columns.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now one more thing. What is the third way of representation of the array declaration? Do you think 4 is compulsory or optional? Writing 4 here is
Optional, sir.
optional, right? Let me verify now. Let me save this first. Let me run. Still it is working, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so first one is optional because right hand side it will check how many rows are there. Based on that, the number of size for the first dimension is automatically created. Whereas if I am emitting the second this one, it is a problem. Okay, let me verify. I think this also will work out as per my knowledge. Yeah, it is giving an error. What it is giving, array type has incomplete element type. So only first one you have an option to ignore. Second one you cannot ignore. Okay. So second one is compulsory. First one is an optional. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Fine. So finally, this is only the way you are trying to initialize the 2D array within the program. Whereas the first one is we are trying to read from the keyboard. There are two methods I'm trying to give it to you. Now directly I jump into a matrix operations. So first one is I'm taking as a matrix addition. So you can see from the beginning how many arrays are needed? At least 3 arrays, isn't it? Matrix 1, matrix 2 and matrix 3, and 2 indexes to represent rows and columns. Is that clear? The declaration part?
Yes, sir.
And what is the size of the matrix 1, matrix 2 and matrix 3?
9.
9.
9. Okay, 3 by 3 matrix, total 9. And coming to the reading of the inputs, as we have seen in the very first program, same I varies from 0 to 2, J also varies from 0 to 2. It's a square matrix. So ampersand of matrix 1 I comma j in the scanf you can see. So and again you can see the same whether it has taken the inputs or not. You can display. Sorry, second matrix is red, and finally you are performing the processing of two matrices. So you can see matrix of 3 I comma j is equal to matrix 1 of I comma j plus matrix 2 of I comma j. Only difference is we are not writing a for loop to display the matrix 1 and matrix 2, simply only reading part, because already the first program we have verified when I'm following this procedure, the data or whatever inputs you give from the keyboard are going to be stored in the memory. So there is no need for verification again. So directly we are jumping into processing of the two matrices. So processing of the two matrices is nothing but you are trying to perform addition of two matrices here. So matrix 3 I comma j is equal to matrix 1 I comma j plus matrix 2 I comma j. So you have to repeat for total 9 times. So 2 for loops are needed. Finally, you are supposed to see the output from the third matrix, which is right. We are simply displaying the matrix 3 with a printf backslash n when j is equal to 3. Can you tell me why j is not checked here? Anybody? In the previous program, j double equal to 2 I have tested, and then I use printf backslash n. Here I am not using. Anybody can identify why I am not writing here? What is the reason? Why that comparison if condition for j double equal to 3 is ignored or 2 is ignored? Make it fast. What is the reason behind not using if condition for no keeping the backslash n? Because the for loop is going to be terminated when j becomes how much? When j becomes 3, automatically the for loop gets terminated, no?
Yes, sir.
So every for loop no is going to print three elements, because only one statement is there at part of the second for loop. No opening and closing bracket is needed. So every j equal to 0 printf is executed, j equal to 1 printf is executed, j equal to 2 printf executed. The moment j equal to 3 printf, first printf is ignored, immediately next printf is going to be executed. Is that clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let me run this. So first same I use 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So we are not writing every statement. So this is first matrix. Now I'm entering second matrix. Again same I'm using 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Can you tell me what is the resultant matrix now? Tell me. What must be the resultant matrix? Simply sum of the first two, isn't it? 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, 3 plus 3, 4 plus 4, 5 plus 5, like that. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
You can see here 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 plus 3 is 6, like that. You can see remaining elements also. I think it is perfect. Is it adding or not?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, matrix subtraction is very simple. What I'm supposed to do here, change. Simply, what is the line number I'm supposed to modify?
22.
Yeah, in the 22 line number, instead of plus, you can use a minus. So I'm not using the matrix subtraction, but next operation is a matrix transpose. So what is matrix transpose?
Exchanging rows and columns elements.
Very good. So simply instead of I and J, what I'm supposed to use? J and I, isn't it? Not like that actually. Slightly different. Here I and J, J, I. Here you need to change, not in the for loops. For loop can be I and J, but coming to here, it is more important. J, I should be interchanged in the indexes, not in the for loops. Is that clear? See, 0, 0, 0, 0 is fine. Then 0, comma 1, I want 1, comma 0, no?
Yes, sir.
So I think mat transpose, it is given separate variable. Mat will be the input matrix. So you can simply see Ji must be used for every ij, so that automatically a new matrix, which is mat trans, is going to be transpose of the given matrix. You can see, you can display here. I think need not to explain the scanf for reading the inputs into the matrix. Only thing is line number 16 is important to all of you, where a new matrix is going to be initialized with j comma I when for loops are I comma j. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Only the 16 line number is sufficient in this. So let me run this. So let me use 1, 2, 3 will be first row, 4, 5, 6 will be the next row, 7, 8, 9 will be third row. So I think now they become a columns, isn't it? 1, 2, 3 has become first column, 4, 5, 6 has become second column, 7, 8, 9 become as third column, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So it is a transpose of a matrix. This is the second operation for the matrix. Then comes, I don't know what is there in this matrix. Let me check. Same addition only, so not required. Matrix multiplication, third one. So coming to the matrix multiplication, up to reading the inputs into the matrix, no change. 2 for loops for reading matrix 1. 2 for loops for reading matrix 2. Now coming to the matrix 3, you must be very careful, because for matrix multiplication, you need 3 for loops for the processing. Why do you need 3 for loops? When you perform rows and columns multiplication, you get partial products, isn't it? Row elements are multiplied with the column elements. Are you not going to get multiple products?
Yes, sir.
So to add all those products, it becomes one quantity, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So for that addition of all the partial products, you need one more for loop. So you must be very careful. So only thing is, initially for every row or every number, for the third second for loop, I'm trying to use a sum equal to 0. And first time when you perform mat of 1 comma k means k equal to 0, where I is equal to 1, because 0 comma 0. You just try to analyze, when you try to on a paper, right? When you put on a paper, then you come to know the for k is equal to 0, k less than 3, k plus plus, what are the terms are going to be available. Then you can analyze, is it following as per the requirement or not. So otherwise you can say that the inner dimension must be same, outer dimensions will be the resultant matrix. Agreed or not? Generally I comma k and k comma j, so k and k must be matched. I and j will be the resultant matrix. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
So same thing you can follow here. So sum plus it's the sum of partial product. So that is the reason every time sum is going to be done, and it will be repeated for 3 times. So mat 1 of I comma k into mat 2 of k comma j. Then you are able to see that the sum will be the final mat 3 of I comma j. So let me run this program. So I'll just give 3 by 3 matrix 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I want to give identity matrix. Can you tell me the elements of the identity matrix?
1 0 0
1, 0, 0. Second row.
0 1 0
0, 1, 0. Third one.
0 0 1.
0, 0, 1. Because I want same, no, because I cannot verify now. So easy verification is you give one matrix is a non-zero matrix, other matrix identity matrix. So what is the result now?
159 diagonal elements.
Now diagonal 1, 2, 3, whatever first matrix you have given, same thing will come, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
So you can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is a matrix multiplication. It indicates that your matrix multiplication is performed perfectly, isn't it?
So here, what is the use of K then?
K will help you to know take care of no row and column picking. If I'm trying to pick the second element of the row, I wanted to pick the second element of the column. K only will help you.
Okay.
Is it not?
Yes, sir.
K will help you picking the first matrix row wise element and picking the second element of the second matrix column wise.
Okay, sir.
Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, again you have to analyze very carefully, because in the examination, like no, you cannot ask question, I cannot clarify also. So try to practice as many times as possible. Make sure that you understand the matrix multiplication thoroughly. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
With this and one more I just wanted to mention, no, I said one I think how it is different. Yeah, I think here the slight difference is, what is the size of the matrix 1? Tell me. Size of the matrix 1 is how much?
100.
10 by 10, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
2 also 10 by 10, 3 also 10 by 10. Do you have really patience to type 100 elements?
No, sir.
So always we try to have more size, but as per my requirement, I wanted to have only 2 by 2 matrix, because I need only some of the elements of that no 10 by 10. So that particular example, this one, you can see here, what it is asking, enter the size of the matrix. So I want row size will be 2 and maybe column size is 3. Now how many elements I'm supposed to enter to read the first matrix?
6.
6.
6 elements, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will be how many rows, how many columns?
2 rows, 3 columns.
Okay. So that is a matrix. Now similarly, I want to perform addition of second matrix. So what must be my size now? Same 2 by 3, no?
2 by 3.
So I think it is not taken. So it understood that both the matrices of equal size, 2 by 3 only. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So matrix after addition. So I think it is perfect. 2 rows, 3 columns.
Yes, sir.
So always declare more size, and as per your requirement, you can also have a provision to read from the scanf function what is size of the first row and column for each matrix. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll try to share all the programs what all I have explained today and the PPT. And the next class I'll try to discuss on this one, the searching techniques, linear and binary search. As I said, multi-dimensional array, only you should know what it means and how to define and how to know the size of the array. Next class we are trying to discuss linear and binary search. Maybe next class, selection and bubble sort. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
And tomorrow again, probably mostly evening only I will have a class, because morning is very little no busy. So tomorrow also 6 to 9 anytime I'll try to update. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Somebody is waiting. I don't know since how long he's waiting. Okay, let me stop recording.